Hot air balloons are one of the oldest forms of human flight, and have captured the imagination of people for centuries. They are a fascinating example of human ingenuity and innovation. Their invention and development have been shaped by historical and scientific factors, and they have found applications in both military and non-military industries. Hot air balloons were invented in the late 18th century, during the period of the Enlightenment in Europe. The first successful hot air balloon flight took place on November 21, 1783, in Paris, France, when the Montgolfier brothers, Joseph and Etienne, launched a hot air balloon made of paper and silk into the sky. Hot air balloons operate on the principle that hot air is less dense than cold air. The balloon itself is made of lightweight, heat-resistant fabric, such as nylon or polyester, and is filled with hot air using a burner that runs on propane or other fuels. The burner heats the air inside the balloon's envelope, causing it to become less dense and rise. As the hot air inside the balloon rises, it displaces cooler air, which flows down and out the bottom of the balloon. The Battle of Fleurus in 1794 marked a pivotal moment in military history, with French forces using hot air balloons for reconnaissance and intelligence gathering for the first time. Led by General Jean-Baptiste Jourdan, the French Balloon Corps played a crucial role in securing victory by providing a bird's-eye view of the battlefield and valuable intelligence on enemy movements. Jourdan's use of balloons set a precedent for future military innovations and demonstrated the potential of aerial reconnaissance for warfare. During the American Civil War, hot air balloons were used for reconnaissance and intelligence gathering. The Union Army established a balloon corps led by Thaddeus Lowe, who is often credited as being the founder of military ballooning in the United States. Lowe's balloon, the Enterprise, was launched from a tethered position and used for observation and reconnaissance. From an altitude of around 500 feet, Lowe could observe enemy movements and report back to Union commanders on the ground. He also used the telegraph to communicate with the ground, making it one of the earliest forms of aerial communication in military history. During World War I, the balloons were typically used for observation and reconnaissance, allowing military personnel to observe enemy positions and movements, artillery spotting from a safe distance. Balloons were typically launched from a tethered position, allowing them to remain stationary at a fixed altitude. Observers in the balloons used binoculars and cameras to record and report enemy movements, and telegraph equipment was used to communicate with the ground. However, the use of balloons also presented significant risks. They were vulnerable to attack from enemy aircraft, and many balloon crews were killed or captured by enemy forces. One notable example of the use of balloons in World War I was during the Battle of the Somme in 1916. British balloon crews were able to provide valuable intelligence on enemy positions and movements, allowing British artillery to more effectively target enemy positions. During World War II, hot air balloons played a relatively minor role in the overall conflict. The use of balloons for observation and reconnaissance was largely supplanted by airplanes and radar. One usage of the balloons were as decoys to confuse and mislead enemy forces, creating the illusion of larger military forces or to draw enemy fire away from actual targets. One example of this was the use of hot air balloons as part of the D-Day invasion in 1944. In the days leading up to the invasion, Allied forces launched hundreds of hot air balloons into the air over England and France. The balloons were designed to create the illusion of a massive military buildup, with the hope of convincing the Germans to shift their forces away from the actual landing sites in Normandy. In addition to their use as decoys, hot air balloons were also used to protect military installations and ships from air attacks. Tethered balloons could be raised into the air to provide a barrier between enemy planes and their targets, making it more difficult for enemy planes to hit their targets. Also during World War II, Japan released 9,300 balloon bombs that were intended to be carried to the United States by a high-altitude wind known today as the jet stream. Less than 400 of the bombs are known to have made the 6,000-mile journey. At least 35 of these bombs are known to have landed in Montana. When inflated with hydrogen, each 33 feet wide balloon could carry up to 794 pounds of ballast and bombs. As they floated upward to a height of 4 to 8 miles, they were taken into the jet stream and carried at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour toward the USA. Today, hot air balloons are primarily used for recreational purposes, such as sightseeing and sport. Ballooning enthusiasts often take to the skies in hot air balloons to enjoy panoramic views of the landscape and experience the thrill of flight. In addition to recreational use, hot air balloons are still used for a variety of specialized applications. For example, balloons are sometimes used for scientific research, allowing scientists to study the atmosphere and other environmental factors from a unique perspective.